I was looking at this rower that I have in my garage that I bought, and I was thinking about the rower and how that works, and how when you are on a rower like that, it's going to take you tons of time to get tired, to fail. It's going to take you a dozen minutes or more. So why would you purposefully want to choose an activity that would take that long? If you could just speed up the intensity, you'd get there faster, right? So if you're on a rower and you pick up the intensity, what happens? You start sweating more, your heart rate's going up, the muscles that you're using are getting tired, right? The back, the legs. So this same phenomenon happens when you resistance train. You could accomplish the same systematic effect of your body that you would on a rower, training your back, training your legs with weights. Take rows, like weighted seated cable rows. It's nearly identical, except instead of it taking you a dozen minutes to like gas out, you can gas out in a minute or two or three. You increase that intensity. You increase the muscles involvement. The cardiovascular involvement is also increased. We used to say that it was anaerobic, right? We used to say, oh, well, if it's a short duration, it's anaerobic. Where do you draw that line? Where do you draw that line that it's anaerobic? Because yes, as the duration increases, it's definitely going to lean itself more to a cardiovascular involvement, but so does the intensity. When the intensity increases, the same thing happens. So I would suggest that if you went to seated cable rows to failure in a reasonable time frame, which would be 1 to 2 minutes instead of taking you 10 minutes, and even then you don't hit failure on a rower, right? On a rower machine, you don't hit failure in 10 minutes. You're just kind of tired, but your back's not failing. So it's inferior. You see what I'm saying? It's inferior because you never hit that point. You never hit that breaking point, which you could hit on a seated cable row. You will hit that. You will train the muscles to get bigger, stronger. Your cardiovascular system was heavily involved. You're gasping for air. The muscles are locking up. They're getting used so hard. It's so much superior. So this goes into my thinking and what I'm trying to explain to people, in that weightlifting recruits the cardiovascular system heavily when you train with an all-out 100% intensity. Most people don't, because they're never fully recovered, because they train all the time. They train 4, 5, 6 days a week. They're never giving it 100% because they don't have 100% to give. You see what I'm saying? If you actually let yourself recover, take several days off, take a week, 2 weeks, whatever it takes, go into the gym. And next time you train, pick only a handful of exercises. I would say anywhere from 4 to 8 exercises, and take the set to actual hard failure. You will understand everything that I've been saying. It will finally make sense to you. You'll be gassed out. The muscle will be taxed. You'll have accomplished your goal. It's the same phenomenon. It's like when you're trying to push a sled, right? When you're trying to push a heavy sled for a couple minutes and you just keep pushing it. You don't stop when it hurts, when it feels uncomfortable. You just keep pushing that sled until your legs cannot move the sled anymore. And that takes you, say, 2 minutes. Are you going to tell me your cardiovascular system was not involved in that? When you are gassed out, your entire system, your entire body is fully fatigued from doing something like that. Well, that is how every single one of my gym training sets is. That's what high intensity training is all about. You fatigue the entire system with every set that you do. The whole body is work. The whole body senses the fatigue and has to recover. So when you train with a high intensity, this is the kind of results you can expect. You can expect it to feel like you just did the hardest interval session of your life, except each interval, instead of being the same activity over and over, is a different muscle that you're attacking with that set. So I hope this kind of sheds some light on how you can use weights and also get a cardiovascular benefit from it. You're not just stuck trying to be a bodybuilder or a weightlifter or a power lifter. You actually can train with a high intensity. It will be more beneficial than using a cardiovascular modality like a rower or a treadmill or something like that, because you can actually reach muscle failure, which will give you more benefits than doing something you can just do forever.